The iron collar was heavier than Tirelessly expected. Cold metal bit into her throat as the priestess fastened it with practiced efficiency, each click of the lock echoing through the preparation chamber like a death knell. Taryn didn't flinch. She'd known this day would come since she was old enough to understand what it meant to be unmarked. A woman without a mate, without a pack, without value. The moon ceremony took what no one wanted. "Head up," the priestess commanded, her weathered fingers tilting Tirelessly's chin. Cold, darkened eyes studied her face with clinical detachment. "You're prettier than most. Perhaps the gods will be merciful." Tirelessly almost laughed. Mercy. As if the gods had ever shown her that. The ceremonial gown they dressed her in was white. Virgin white, they called it, though the term felt like mockery. Sheer fabric clung to her body, leaving nothing to imagination, marking her as an offering laid bare. Her dark hair had been unbound, falling in waves past her shoulders. They'd painted symbols on her skin in silver ink, ancient runes she couldn't read, but understood meant only one thing: sacrifice. Through the thin walls, she could hear the drums beginning, deep, rhythmic, the heartbeat of the ceremony. "It's time," the priestess said, pulling Taryn to her feet. The preparation chamber door opened, and the night air hit her like a slap. Taryn's bare feet touched cold stone as they led her down the corridor toward the ceremonial grounds. Torches lined the path, casting dancing shadows that made the walls seem alive, hungry. She could hear the crowd now, hundreds of voices murmuring, waiting. Let them watch, Tirelessly thought bitterly. Let them see what their traditions demand. The corridor opened onto the sacred grounds, and the full weight of the moment crashed over her. The moon ceremony grounds were carved into the mountainside, a natural amphitheater of stone where thousands had gathered. Lichens from every pack in the region filled the terraced levels, their eyes glowing in the darkness like stars. At the center stood the altar, a massive slab of black granite stained with the blood of countless ceremonies before this one. Above it all, the full moon hung bloated and silver, casting everything in its cold, merciless light. Tirelessly's legs threatened to give out, but she forced herself to walk. The priestess's grip on her arm was more guidance than restraint. They both knew she wouldn't run. There was nowhere to go. The guards flanking the procession were merely ceremonial. The real prison was tradition itself. The drums grew louder as they approached the altar. That's when Tirelessly saw her. Another woman stood on the opposite side of the grounds, being led by a different priestess. She wore the same white gown, the same silver markings, the same iron collar. Another sacrifice. Taryn's breath caught. In all the stories, all the histories, there had only ever been one chosen for the moon ceremony. One offering to appease the wolf gods. One life to ensure the pack's prosperity for another year. Never two. The crowd's murmurs turned to confused whispers, then to shocked silence as both women were brought forward. Taryn's eyes locked on the other sacrifice, and something cold slithered down her spine. The woman looked familiar. No, not familiar. Identical. Same dark hair. Same sharp cheekbones. Same gray eyes that seemed to hold storm clouds. The woman stared back at Taryn with equal shock, her lips parting in silent recognition of something impossible. They looked exactly alike. "What is this?" someone shouted from the crowd. "Two sacrifices. The prophecy," an elder's voice rang out. "The twin flames prophecy." Chaos rippled through the assembly. Lycans surged to their feet, arguing, pointing. The priestesses who held Taryn and the other woman exchanged uncertain glances, but continued pulling them toward the altar. Taryn couldn't look away from her mirror image. Questions screamed through her mind. Who was she? How was this possible? Why did looking at her feel like looking at a piece of herself she'd never known was missing? The other woman seemed equally transfixed, her chest rising and falling rapidly, eyes wide with the same desperate confusion. "Silence!" The voice cut through the chaos like a blade. Every Lycan in attendance dropped to one knee, heads bowed. Even the priestesses bent in deference. Only Taryn and her twin remained standing, bound by their collars and their shock. A figure emerged from the shadows at the head of the amphitheater. Fenro, the Lycan King. Now, Taryn had never seen him in person, only heard the stories. They said he was ruthless, merciless, a king who'd taken his throne through blood and held it through fear. They said his wolf was a monster, larger and more savage than any alpha before him. They hadn't mentioned he was beautiful. He moved with predatory grace, each step deliberate and controlled. Power radiated from him like heat from a flame. He was tall, broad-shouldered, his body carved from muscle and violence. Dark hair fell to his shoulders, framing a face of sharp angles and harder edges. But it was his eyes that stopped Tyreen's heart. Gold, burning with an intensity that felt like being seen for the first time in her life. Those eyes swept over the crowd, over the priestesses, over the altar, then landed on Taryn. Everything stopped. The world narrowed to that single point of connection, his gaze locked with hers across the ceremonial grounds. Something pulled in Tyreen's chest, a sensation she'd never felt before. Like a rope she hadn't known existed suddenly going taut. Like recognition carved into her very bones. Fenro's expression shifted. Shock. Then something darker. Hunger. His wolf had recognized her. The mate bond. Tyreen's knees nearly buckled. No, this couldn't be happening. She was unmarked because she'd never felt the pull, never met her fated mate. And now, here, on the night of her execution, the bond chose to reveal itself? With the Lycan King? Fenro's jaw clenched, muscles tensing as if fighting against invisible chains. His hands curled into fists at his sides. For a moment, he looked like a man at war with himself. Then his eyes shifted to the other woman, Taryn's twin, and Fenro's expression shattered into something like agony. No, he breathed, the word barely audible but carrying in the sacred silence. The high priestess, an ancient woman draped in ceremonial robes, stepped forward. Her voice was cold, formal. Your Majesty, the gods have spoken. 2 sacrifices for the first time in 1,000 years. The twin flames prophecy has come to pass. Both must be offered to ensure the pack's survival. Explain this, Fenro growled, his voice rough with barely controlled fury. Explain why there are 2 when there has only ever been 1. The high priestess's expression remained impassive. The prophecy states that when twin flames are born, 2 souls split from one source. They must both be returned to the gods to restore balance. Their separation was a wound in the natural order. Tonight, it is healed. Taryn's mind reeled. Twin flames, born from one soul. She looked at the other woman, her sister, and saw the same desperate understanding dawning in those storm-gray eyes. They were twins, separated at birth, and tonight they were both going to die. Bring them forward, the high priestess commanded. The priestesses yanked Taryn and her sister toward the altar. Taryn's feet dragged against stone. Every instinct screamed to fight, to run, but the iron collar seemed to drain her will, making her limbs heavy and slow. Her sister fought harder, thrashing against her captors. No, there has to be another way. Please! But they were both forced to their knees before the altar, side by side for the first time in their lives. Up close, Taryn could see the subtle differences. A small scar above her sister's left eyebrow, slightly fuller lips. But gods, they could have been reflections. What's your name? Taryn whispered. Aelith, her sister breathed back, tears streaming down her face. Yours? Taryn. They'd been given different names, raised in different places, lived separate lives. And now they would die together, strangers bound by blood and fate. Fenro stood before them, his massive frame blocking out the moon. Taryn looked up at him and saw a king breaking apart. The mate bond pulled at her again, stronger now. She could feel his turmoil, his rage, his helplessness. Feel it as if it were her own. You can't save us both, can you? Taryn said quietly. Fenro's golden eyes met hers, and she saw the answer there. The ancient laws were absolute. The ceremony demanded sacrifice. The high priestess and the pack elders would never allow deviation. If Fenro tried to claim both women, he'd be seen as defying the gods themselves. His rule would crumble. Civil war would erupt. But the mate bond, the bond was screaming at him to save her. Save Tirene. "I'm sorry," Fenro said, and his voice cracked on the words. Then he reached down and grabbed Tirine's arm, hauling her to her feet. "I claim this woman as my mate," he announced, his voice carrying across the amphitheater. "By ancient right, by the bond recognized before the gods themselves, I claim her. She is mine. The ceremony will take the other." "No!" Aelith screamed. "Please, no! Don't leave me here!" Taryn tried to pull away from Fenro, tried to reach for her sister, this stranger who was somehow part of her. "You can't. She's my—" "I'm sorry," Fenro said again, and there were centuries of pain in those two words. He lifted Taryn into his arms, and despite her struggling, despite her screams, he began to carry her away from the altar, away from Aelith. Behind them, the High Priestess began the death chant. The ceremonial blade was raised. "Tirene!" Aelith's voice shattered across the night. "Tirene! Please!" Tirene thrashed in Fenro's iron grip, watching over his shoulder as her sister was forced flat against the altar, watching as the blade rose higher, catching moonlight. "Let me go! That's my sister! You can't!" The blade began its descent. Then the world exploded. A massive black wolf, larger than any Tirene had ever seen, crashed into the ceremonial grounds from the forest edge. Lycans scattered, screaming. The High Priestess stumbled backward. The guards rushed forward, but were thrown aside like children's toys. The wolf moved with terrifying speed and purpose, heading straight for the altar. For Aelith. "My wrath," Fenro snarled, and Taryn felt his whole body go rigid with fury, and something else. Recognition. Family. The black wolf reached Aelith, jaws closing around the chain of her collar. With one savage twist, the iron shattered. Then the wolf scooped Aelith onto his back and ran. "Stop him!" the High Priestess shrieked. Guards gave chase, but the black wolf was already disappearing into the tree line. Aelith clinging to his fur, her white gown streaming behind her like a ghost. Fenro stood frozen, Taryn still in his arms, both of them staring at the space where the wolf had vanished. The ceremony grounds erupted into chaos, elders shouting, warriors transforming. The High Priestess screaming about blasphemy and curses. But all Taryn could see was the empty altar. All she could feel was the sudden, terrible absence of the sister she'd only just discovered. "Who was that?" she whispered. Fenro's jaw clenched. "My brother." Then he turned and carried her away from the screaming crowd, away from the sacred grounds, away from the ceremony that had been shattered for the first time in recorded history. Tirene didn't fight anymore. She just stared back at the forest where her sister had disappeared, feeling like half of herself had been ripped away. Fenro's fortress was carved into the mountain itself, a sprawling complex of stone and shadow that seemed to grow from the rock rather than being built upon it. Taryn barely registered the journey, her mind still trapped at the altar. She replaying Aelith's screams over and over. "Tirene, please!" Fenro carried her through corridors lit by torchlight, past guards who snapped to attention and tried not to stare at the woman in their king's arms. The ceremonial gown was still painted on her skin, marking her as what she was, a sacrifice interrupted. He finally set her down in a chamber that must have been his own. It was massive, dominated by a bed large enough to accommodate his wolf form, with furs and silks piled thick. Weapons lined the walls, swords, axes, ancient blades that looked like they'd tasted plenty of blood. A fire roared in the hearth, casting everything in flickering orange light. Taryn stood in the center of the room, shaking, not from cold, from rage. "You left her," she said quietly. Fenro was pouring something from a crystal decanter, whiskey by the smell. He didn't look at her. "I saved you. You condemned her to death. I saved you from death." He whirled to face her, and for the first time, she saw the full weight of what this had cost him. His eyes were wild, almost feral. His hands trembled around the glass. "Do you understand what I've just done? I defied the High Priestess. I interrupted a sacred ceremony. Half the pack elders will call for my head by morning. I risked everything to claim you, and you're angry I didn't commit political suicide by trying to save both? She's my sister! Taryn's voice broke. I didn't even know she existed until tonight. And now she's gone. Stolen by some rogue wolf. And you just let it happen. Myrath is not some rogue wolf, Fenro bit out. He's my twin brother, and he didn't steal Aelith. He saved her. Taryn's breath caught. Your twin. Fenro downed the whiskey in one swallow, then poured another. My brother. My mirror. Separated at birth, just like you and Aelith. Our father couldn't have two alpha heirs, so Myrath was sent away. Raised in exile. We found each other years ago, but he trailed off, jaw working. It's complicated. Where did he take her? I don't know. Liar! Taryn surged forward, getting in his face despite the fact that he towered over her, despite the power radiating from him. You know exactly where he is. You're brothers. You must have some way to— I don't, Fenro snarled, and his eyes flashed gold, his wolf rising to the surface. Myrath and I haven't spoken in 2 years. Not since he was banished from Packlands for questioning the ceremony, for calling it murder. We had a falling out. But he just saved Aelith. Yes. Why would he do that if you're not in contact? Fenro's expression darkened. Because Myrath has been trying to end the moon ceremony for years. He believes it's barbaric, unnecessary. He's probably been watching, waiting for an opportunity to intervene. Tonight, with the chaos of 2 sacrifices, he saw his chance. Taryn's mind raced. So, Aelith is alive. For now. What does that mean? Fenro set down his glass with deliberate care. It means the High Priestess will demand recompense. The ceremony was broken. The gods weren't appeased. She'll claim the packs are now cursed. That disaster will follow unless the sacrifice is completed. That's insane. That's tradition. Fenro's voice was heavy with centuries of weight. And tradition is all that holds the packs together. Without it, well, we tear each other apart. Civil war, blood feuds, chaos. So what happens now? Now? Fenro finally looked at her. Really looked at her. The mate bond hummed between them, undeniable and terrifying. Now you're mine, my claimed mate, which means you're under my protection, and no one can touch you without declaring war on me personally. I don't want to be yours, Taryn said coldly. I want to find my sister. Pain flashed across Fenro's face, quickly masked. I know. Then help me. I can't. Can't or won't. Both. He moved to the window, staring out at the moonlit forest. If I leave to search for Myrath, the pack will fracture. The elders will see it as abandoning my duties to chase a rogue. They're already questioning my judgment for claiming you. If I show any more weakness, so you'll just leave Aelith out there? With your brother, who you haven't spoken to in 2 years? Who you banished? Myrath won't hurt her, Fenro said quietly. If anything, he'll protect her. He's many things, but he's not cruel. He saved her because he believes the ceremony is wrong. He'll keep her safe. You don't know that. I know my brother. Do you? Taryn challenged. Because from where I'm standing, it seems like you've been at war with him for years. What's to stop him from using Aelith as leverage? Or worse? Fenro's shoulders tensed. Because despite everything, Myrath is honorable. He has his own twisted sense of justice, but he wouldn't harm an innocent. She's terrified, Taryn's voice rose. She was about to die. Then some giant wolf grabbed her and ran off into the night. Even if he doesn't mean to hurt her, she doesn't know that. She's alone, scared, and with a stranger. She's with my brother, Fenro interrupted, turning to face her. And right now, that's the safest place she could be. Because the High Priestess wants her blood, Taryn. Do you understand? The ceremony must be completed. If Aelith stayed here, she'd be dead by sunrise. Myrath gave her a chance to survive. The words hit like a physical blow. Taryn sank onto the edge of the massive bed, the fight draining out of her. Aelith was alive because she'd been stolen. Taryn was alive because she'd been claimed, and both of them were trapped by forces beyond their control. "I just found her," Taryn whispered. "I didn't even know I had a sister. And now—" Fenro crossed the room and knelt before her, bringing himself to her eye level. This close, she could see the gold flecks in his eyes, and the sharp intelligence behind the alpha dominance. This close, the mate bond was almost overwhelming, a pull so strong it made her bones ache. "I will find her," Fenro said, and his voice was a promise carved in stone. "I swear it. Once things settle, once the pack stabilizes, I will track Myrath down and bring Aelith back to you." "When?" Taryn demanded. "Days, weeks, months?" "I don't know. That's not good enough. It's all I can offer." His hand rose, hesitating, then gently tucked a strand of hair behind her ear. The touch sent electricity racing across her skin. "You're my mate, Tireen. That bond, it's not something I chose, but it's real. And it means I'll do everything in my power to protect you, to give you what you need. I need my sister. I know." His thumb brushed her cheek, and she realized tears were falling. "No, and I will give her back to you. But right now, I need you to trust me. Trust that Myrath won't hurt her. Trust that I'll make this right." Taryn wanted to push him away, wanted to scream that she didn't trust him, didn't want this bond, didn't ask to be saved while her sister was abandoned. But the bond made lying impossible. She could feel his sincerity, feel his conflict, feel the war raging inside him between duty and desire, between his role as king and his instinct as mate. "I hate this," she whispered. "I know. I hate that I can feel what you're feeling. Hate that part of me wants to forgive you just because of some biological imperative. I know. I hate that my sister is out there and I'm trapped here. I know." Fenro's forehead pressed against hers, and the contact made the bond sing. "I hate it too. I hate that I had to choose. I hate that the ceremony exists at all. I hate that tradition demanded this. But I will not apologize for choosing you. The bond chose you. My wolf chose you. And I chose you." Taryn closed her eyes, letting the tears fall freely now. "She was screaming for me. I heard. I'll never forget it. Neither will I." They stayed like that for a long moment. Two people bound by fate, drowning in choices neither of them wanted to make. Finally, Fenro pulled back. "You should rest. Tomorrow will be difficult. The pack will want answers. The elders will demand explanations. And the high priestess—" He trailed off, jaw clenching. "What will she do?" "Declare the pack's cursed until the sacrifice is completed. She'll demand Aelith be found and return to the altar. And when I refuse—" His eyes met hers, and she saw the weight of kingdoms in them. "There will be consequences. War? Possibly. Because of me. Because of a tradition that should have died centuries ago," Fenro corrected. "Because we've built our entire society on the blood of innocence and called it holy. This was coming, Taryn. Myrath's been pushing for change for years. Tonight just accelerated things." He stood, moving toward the door. "There are clothes in the wardrobe. Food will be brought. And guards outside the door. For your protection, not your imprisonment. You're free to move through the fortress, but I'd advise staying close. Not everyone in the pack is happy about what happened tonight." "Where are you going?" "To deal with the elders. To try to prevent the political wildfire this has started from burning everything down." He paused at the door, a hand on the frame. "I meant what I said, Tareen. I will find your sister. I will make this right. And if you can't?" Fenro's expression hardened into something ancient and ruthless, the Lycan king who'd taken his throne through blood. "Then I'll burn down every tradition, every law, every sacred rule that stands between you and her. Because you're mine now, and I protect what's mine." Then he was gone, the door closing softly behind him. Taryn sat in the massive chamber, surrounded by luxury and power, wearing a dead woman's gown. Somewhere out there, her sister was running through the night on the back of a wolf. and Taran was trapped here, bound by a mate bond she never wanted, to a king who'd chosen her over her twin. She should hate Fenro, part of her did. But another part, the part connected to him through invisible threads, understood. He'd been given an impossible choice, and he'd chosen the only way he knew how. She curled up on the bed, still in her ceremonial gown, and stared at the fire. Tomorrow, she'd demand answers. Tomorrow, she'd fight for Aelith. Tomorrow, she'd be strong. Tonight, she let herself break, for the sister she'd just found, and the freedom she'd just lost. Dawn broke over the fortress like a wound, red and raw across the horizon. Taran hadn't slept. She'd spent the night pacing Fenro's chamber, still wearing the ceremonial gown, because removing it felt like accepting what had happened, like accepting that Aelith was gone. The door opened without warning. Fenro entered, and Taran could see the night had been just as brutal for him. Dark circles shadowed his eyes. His jaw was tight with tension. He'd changed into hunting leathers, practical, worn, meant for travel. The elders, Taran asked. Contained. Barely. Fenro moved to the wardrobe, pulling out clothes and tossing them on the bed. The High Priestess is calling for blood. Half the pack wants Aelith found and returned to the altar. The other half is questioning whether the gods even demanded 2 sacrifices in the first place. And you, I'm leaving. His eyes met hers. To find Myrath, to find your sister. Taran's heart lurched. You said you couldn't. I said it would be political suicide, and it will be. Fenro's voice was grim. But I made you a promise, and more than that. He paused, jaw working. I need answers. About why there were 2 sacrifices. About what Myrath knows. About what he's planning. I'm coming with you. No, that wasn't a request. Taran snatched up the clothes he'd thrown on the bed. Leather pants, a tunic, boots. She's my sister. I'm not sitting here while you hunt her down. It's dangerous. I don't care. Myrath is unpredictable. I don't care. Taran stepped closer, and the mate bond flared between them. She could feel his resistance, but also his understanding. You want me to trust you? Then trust me. Let me come. Let me see my sister with my own eyes, and know she's safe. Fenro stared at her for a long moment. Then, reluctantly, he nodded. Get dressed. We leave in an hour. The hunting party was small. Fenro had insisted on that. Just him, Taran, and 2 of his most trusted warriors, Xyler and Drenvar. Xyler was Fenro's second in command, a lean wolf with sharp eyes and sharper instincts. He moved with the quiet efficiency of someone who'd survived countless battles. When Fenro introduced him, Xyler had looked at Taran with something between pity and respect. So you're the one who broke the ceremony, he'd said. Not an accusation, just a statement of fact. Drenvar was different, bigger, brutal looking, with scars crossing his face and arms. But his eyes held unexpected kindness when he'd bowed to Taran. My lady, I'm sorry for what you've been through. Now they moved through the forest in formation, Fenro leading, Taran close behind, Xyler and Drenvar flanking. All of them in human form for now, though Taran could feel the wolves just beneath their skin, ready to emerge. How do you know where to find him? Taran asked, as they picked their way through dense underbrush. I know my brother. Fenro didn't look back. When we were young, before he was banished, we had places, secret places where we'd meet, where we'd talk about things we couldn't say in front of our father. What kind of things? Fenro was quiet for a moment. Whether the old ways were right, whether tradition was sacred, or just an excuse for cruelty. Myrath always questioned everything. Our father hated it, called it weakness. What did you call it? Dangerous. Fenro pushed aside a low-hanging branch. But not wrong. They traveled for 3 days, deeper into wild territory where pack laws didn't reach. The forest grew darker, older. Trees so massive their roots created caverns in the earth, streams that ran black with minerals. The air itself felt heavy, charged with ancient power. On the 3rd night, as they made camp in a clearing, Xyler approached Fenro with a grim expression. "We're being watched," he said quietly. "Have been for the last mile." Fenro nodded. "I know. Myrath's scouts. He knows we're here. Should we prepare for an attack?" "No." Fenro's eyes scanned the dark tree line. "If Myrath wanted us dead, we'd already be dead. He's letting us approach, which means he wants to talk." Drenvar, who'd been gathering firewood, dropped the bundle and moved to Tyreen's side. "Stay close to us, my lady. Whatever happens." Tyreen's hand went to the dagger Fenro had given her, small but wicked sharp. She had no idea how to use it properly, but the weight was comforting. "Why would Myrath want to hurt me? I'm not his enemy." "You're Fenro's mate," Xyler said bluntly. "That makes you a target. Leverage." "Myrath wouldn't," Fenro started, then stopped. "I don't know what he'd do anymore. It's been 2 years. He could have changed." They set watches and tried to rest, but Taryn couldn't sleep, so she sat by the fire, staring into the flames, feeling Fenro's presence even though he was across the camp. The mate bond had grown stronger over the past 3 days. Sometimes she'd catch herself reaching for him without thinking. Sometimes she'd know what he was feeling before he spoke. It was invasive and intimate and terrifying. "Can't sleep?" She looked up to find Drenvar settling beside her, his massive frame somehow non-threatening in the firelight. "Too much in my head," Tyreen admitted. "I imagined so." Drenvar poked at the fire with a stick. "Finding out you have a twin sister, nearly dying, being claimed by the Lycan King, hunting through forbidden territory. It's a lot for 3 days." Despite everything, Taryn almost smiled. "When you put it like that." "For what it's worth," Drenvar said quietly. "Some Fenro is one of the good ones. I know it doesn't feel like it right now. I know he made an impossible choice. But he's a good male. Honorable. If he says he'll find your sister, he'll find her. Even if it means confronting his own brother? Especially then." Drenvar's expression darkened. "The rift between them, it's eaten at Fenro for years. Part of him wants this confrontation. Needs it, maybe. To finally settle whatever's been left unsaid." "What happened? Why was Myrath banished?" Drenvar glanced toward where Fenro was standing watch at the edge of camp. "That's not my story to tell. But I will say this. Both brothers believe they're doing what's right. And that's what makes this so dangerous. When 2 people who love each other can't agree on what's right, that's when blood is spilled." He stood, patting Tyreen's shoulder with a gentleness that belied his size. "Get some rest, my lady. Tomorrow, we reach Myrath's territory. Things will get complicated fast." The entrance to Myrath's territory at noon the next day. It wasn't marked by borders or signs, just a sudden shift in the forest's energy. The trees grew different here, twisted, almost sentient, their branches forming patterns that seemed intentional. Carved symbols marked certain trunks, runes Taryn didn't recognize. "Ward markers," Xyler muttered. "Old magic, very old." Fenro had stopped, his whole body tense. "He's here. Close." "How do you know?" Taryn asked. "I can feel him." Fenro's hand went to his chest. "Twin bond. It's different from the mate bond. More like an echo. When we're close, I can sense him." As if summoned by the words, wolves emerged from the shadows, 6 of them, massive and battle-scarred, forming a semicircle around the hunting party. Not attacking, just watching. Waiting. Then he appeared. Myrath, in human form this time, and the resemblance to Fenro was breathtaking. Same height, same build, same sharp features. But where Fenro's eyes were gold, Myrath's were silver. Where Fenro moved with controlled authority, Myrath moved with wild freedom. Where Fenro wore the weight of a crown, Myrath wore nothing but defiance. "Brother," Myrath said, and his voice was rough, unused to formality. "You actually came." "You stole from a sacred ceremony," Fenro replied, his tone carefully neutral. "You kidnapped a sacrifice. Did you think I wouldn't hunt you?" "Kidnapped?" Myrath's laugh was harsh. "Is that what you're calling it? Salvation? Mercy? Everything you should have done but were too much of a coward to attempt. Fenro's jaw clenched. Where is Aelith? Safe, alive, not bleeding out on your precious altar. I need to see her, Taryn said, stepping forward despite Drenvar's warning hand. Please, I need to know my sister is okay. Myrath's silver eyes fixed on her, and his expression softened slightly. Taryn, the other half of the twin flames, the one my brother chose. He said it without malice, just observation. She's been asking about you, every day, demanding to know if you're safe. Then let me see her. Myrath studied her for a long moment, then nodded. Follow me. But understand, you enter my territory, you follow my rules. And Fenro, his eyes cut to his brother, try anything, and this ends badly for everyone. I just want to talk, Fenro said. Liar. Myrath turned, gesturing for them to follow. You want answers. You want to understand why I've been fighting against everything you've built. Fine. You'll get your answers. But you won't like them. They followed Myrath deeper into the twisted forest. His wolves surrounded them, not threatening, but definitely guarding. Taryn could feel Fenro's tension through the mate bond, could sense how much this reunion cost him. The forest opened into a hidden valley, and Taryn gasped. A camp sprawled before them, dozens of shelters, hundreds of wolves moving about. But these weren't just warriors. There were families, children, elders. This wasn't a rebel hideout. It was a sanctuary. Welcome to the Unmarked, Myrath said. Every wolf you see here was scheduled for the moon ceremony. Every single one. So I've been rescuing sacrifices for 5 years, building a community of the ones your traditions deemed worthless. Fenro stared at the camp, his face unreadable. 5 years. You've been operating right under my nose for 5 years. You didn't want to see, Myrath shot back. None of the alphas did. The moon ceremony was convenient, a way to cull the unmated, the weak, the ones who didn't fit. You wrapped it in religious ceremony and told yourselves it was necessary. The ceremony maintains balance. The ceremony is murder, Myrath's voice cracked like thunder. And you know it, brother. Deep down, you've always known it. Before Fenro could respond, a voice called out, Taryn! Taryn spun, and there she was. Aelith, running toward her, alive and whole, and so beautiful it made Taryn's chest ache. They collided in the center of the camp, holding each other like drowning people clutching driftwood. You're alive, Taryn sobbed into her sister's hair. You're okay, I'm fine, Aelith said, pulling back to look at Taryn's face. Her hands came up to cup Taryn's cheeks, her eyes searching. But you, are you okay? Did Fenro hurt you? Did he force the mate bond? No, I'm fine. He's been controlling? Possessive? Using the bond to manipulate you? Taryn blinked. What? No, Aelith. You don't have to defend him. Aelith's grip tightened. I know what the mate bond does. How it makes you feel things that aren't real. How it clouds your judgment. That's not, Taryn started, but Aelith was already pulling her away from where Fenro stood with Myrath. Come, there's so much I need to tell you. So much you need to understand about what's really happening. Taryn looked back at Fenro. Their eyes met across the camp, and she felt his concern, his reluctance to let her go. But also his understanding, his acceptance that she needed this time with her sister. She let Aelith lead her to a shelter on the edge of the camp, simple but comfortable, with furs and cushions scattered across the floor. Once inside, Aelith turned to her with an intensity that was almost frightening. Taryn, listen to me. Everything they told us about the moon ceremony is a lie. I know it's wrong, Taryn said. I know the sacrifices are... No, you don't understand. Aelith gripped her hands. It's not just wrong, it's purposeful. The moon ceremony doesn't appease gods. It doesn't maintain balance. It feeds them. Taryn's blood ran cold. Feeds who? The alphas, the ruling families. Every sacrifice performed under the full moon transfers power to them. Makes them stronger, more dominant, harder to challenge. Aelith's eyes were wild with revelation. Fenro's entire reign is built on it. His father's before him. Generations of kings maintaining their power through sacrificial blood magic. That's... Taryn shook her head. That's insane. Fenro wouldn't he? Aelith challenged. Think about it. Why else would the ceremony be so fiercely protected? Why else would questioning it be grounds for banishment? Myrath figured it out years ago. That's why he was exiled, because he threatened to expose the truth. Taryn's mind reeled. She thought of Fenro, of the way he'd talked about the ceremony, the weight in his voice, the guilt. Did he know? So how do you know this is true? Taryn asked. Myrath showed me. Aelith pulled her toward a table covered in ancient texts and scrolls. These are from before the current dynasty, before the ceremony became sacred. Look. She unrolled a brittle scroll, and Taryn saw the words written in old script. Diagrams showing energy flowing from altar to alpha. Notes about power accumulation. References to sacrificial enhancement. This is how they maintain control, Aelith said. This is why unmated wolves are seen as disposable. Why the ceremony targets the vulnerable. They need the deaths to fuel their power. Taryn stared at the evidence, feeling something crack inside her. If this is true, if Fenro knows, then he's complicit. Aelith's voice was gentle but firm. And the mate bond is just another chain, Taryn. Another way to control you, to keep you from seeing the truth. No. Taryn stepped back. No, I've felt what he feels. The bond doesn't lie. He's conflicted about the ceremony. Of course he's conflicted. Aelith grabbed her shoulders. He's not a monster, but he's still benefiting from murder, still maintaining a system built on blood. And unless we stop it, unless we end the ceremonies forever, more sisters will die. More families will be torn apart. Taryn's head spun. Part of her rejected everything Aelith was saying. The mate bond pulled at her, urging her to trust Fenro, to believe he was good. But another part, the part that remembered Aelith's screams at the altar, wondered if her sister was right. Myrath is building a rebellion, Aelith continued, not just to save the sacrifices, but to end the entire power structure, to tear down the dynasties built on blood and create something new, something fair, by starting a war, if that's what it takes. Aelith's eyes burned with conviction. Taryn, I need you. We need you. The twin flames were prophesied for a reason. Together, we have power. Power that could change everything. What are you asking me to do? Leave him. Aelith's voice was urgent. Break the mate bond. Join us. Fight with us. Help us end this. I can't just break a mate bond, Taryn said. It doesn't work like that. There are ways. Old magic. Painful, but possible. Aelith squeezed her hands. I know it's asking a lot. I know the bond makes it feel impossible. But think about all the women who'll die if we don't act. Think about a commotion outside interrupted her. Raised voices. The sound of a scuffle. Both sisters rushed out to find Fenro and Myrath facing off in the center of camp, their warriors circling, tension crackling in the air. You've been lying to them, Fenro snarled, filling their heads with conspiracy theories and half-truths. Half-truths? Myrath's laugh was bitter. Show him, Sarkis. Show my brother what he's really been serving. A figure emerged from one of the larger shelters, an old man with a priest's robes and eyes that held centuries of knowledge. Taryn's breath caught. She knew that face. He'd been at the ceremony, standing with the high priestess. Sarkis, Fenro said, and his voice held ice. You're supposed to be in the capital, serving the temple. I serve the truth, Sarkis said calmly. He carried a leather-bound book, ancient and worn. And the truth, young king, is that your entire bloodline is built on a lie. He opened the book, and even from a distance, Taryn could see the diagrams. The same ones Aelith had shown her, but more detailed, more damning. The moon ceremony was created 300 years ago, Sarkis said, his voice carrying to every wolf in the camp. Not by gods, not by divine mandate, but by the first Lycan king who needed a way to consolidate power. he discovered that willing sacrifice, the acceptance of death, created a unique magical resonance, one that could be harvested. Fenro's face had gone pale. "You're lying." "Am I?" Sarkis approached, holding out the book. "Then explain these records, your great-great-grandfather's own journals, documenting how each ceremony made him stronger, how the power accumulated across generations, how your father felt it when he took the throne, and how you felt it when you claimed yours." "No," Fenro said, but his voice shook. "You felt it, didn't you?" Myrath said quietly. "The surge of power the night you were crowned, right after that year's ceremony. You felt it, and wondered what it meant." Fenro looked at his brother, and Taran saw the truth in his eyes. He'd known. Maybe not the details, maybe not the full extent, but some part of him had known. "It doesn't matter," Fenro said finally. "The ceremony maintains order. Without it, you'd be just another alpha," Myrath finished. "Powerful, yes, but not unstoppable, not unquestionable. The ceremony isn't maintaining order, it's maintaining tyranny." The camp had gone silent. Every eye was on the brothers. Taran felt like she was watching her world collapse. Everything she'd thought she understood about Fenro, about the mate bond, about why he'd saved her, all of it was tainted now, complicated by this revelation. He'd claimed her, saved her from death, but he'd done it knowing that her death would have fed his power. "Taran," Aelith appeared at her side, taking her hand. "Now do you see? Now do you understand why you have to leave him?" Taran looked at Fenro across the camp, looked at the male the mate bond told her was hers, who was supposed to be her other half, her protector, and saw a king built on blood. Her voice broke. "I need to think." "There's no time to think," Aelith urged. "Sarkis has been helping us gather evidence, building a case. Soon, we'll have enough to convince the other packs that the ceremony needs to end. But we need you, Taran." The twin flames, united against the old power. It's symbolic, powerful. "Taran, listen to me." Fenro started toward her, but Myrath's wolves moved to block him. "Don't," Myrath warned. "She's heard enough of your lies." "They're not lies." Fenro's voice was anguished. "Yes, the ceremony has power. Yes, it benefits the ruling families, but it also prevents chaos. Before the ceremony, packs were constantly at war. Alphas challenged each other endlessly. The ceremony created stability. By sacrificing the innocent, Myrath shot back. By creating a system that keeps millions safe." "Safe?" Aelith laughed bitterly. "Tell that to all the women on that altar. Tell that to me and Taran, who were hours from death." Taran pressed her hands to her temples. Too much. Too many voices. Too many revelations. The mate bond screamed at her to go to Fenro, to trust him, to believe his intentions were good even if the system was flawed. But Aelith's hand in hers was real, solid. The sister she'd just found, pulling her toward a different path. "Taran," Fenro's voice cut through the chaos. "Please, look at me." She did. His eyes were gold and desperate, and full of a pain she could feel echoing through the bond. "I didn't know," he said. "Not fully. Not until just now. I knew the ceremony gave power, but I thought it was just symbolic. The gods blessing the Alpha. I didn't know it was blood magic. I didn't know it was feeding on death." "But you do now," Taran said quietly. "Yes. And?" Fenro was silent for a long moment. "Then, and I don't know what to do. End the ceremony and the packs will fracture. Civil war, chaos. Thousands will die in the fighting. Continue it. And we're complicit in murder. There's no good choice." "There's always a choice," Aelith said. "You just don't want to give up your power. I don't want to watch my people tear each other apart." Fenro's composure cracked. "You think this is about power? I hate it. I hate every moment of sitting on a throne built on blood. But I'm trying to minimize harm, trying to hold things together until we can find a better way." "The better way is revolution," Myrath said. Tear it down. Build something new. Revolution is just another word for war. And peace built on sacrifice is just another word for tyranny. The brothers stared at each other, and Taran saw 300 years of history in that gaze, saw the weight of dynasty and duty and brotherhood all tangled together. Choose, Tirene, Aelith whispered. Him or us. The throne or the truth. Taran looked between them. Fenro, her mate, complicated and conflicted and bound to her by forces neither of them controlled. Aelith, her sister, fierce and revolutionary, and offering her a purpose beyond survival. And Sarkis, standing quietly in the background, watching everything with ancient, calculating eyes. Something about the old priest bothered her, the way he'd produced the evidence so perfectly, the way he seemed to know exactly what to say to drive the wedge deeper between the brothers. "How long have you been working with Myrath?" Tirene asked Sarkis. The old man smiled. "Since he was banished, I saw potential in him, a chance to correct old wrongs." "And you just happen to have all this evidence ready?" "I've been collecting it for years, child, waiting for the right moment." "The right moment," Taran repeated, "or the right opportunity." Sarkis' smile didn't waver, but something flickered in his eyes. "Taran, what are you doing?" Aelith asked. "I'm asking questions." Taran stepped away from her sister, moving to the center of the standoff. "Because something doesn't add up. Sarkis, you're a high priest. You serve the temple. You officiate the ceremonies. If you knew they were wrong, why participate for years? Why wait?" "I had to maintain my position," Sarkis said smoothly, "to gather evidence, to wait for allies." "Or," Taran said slowly, pieces clicking together, "you waited because you wanted something. Not to end the ceremony, but to control it." Silence fell across the camp. Fenro's eyes widened. "The High Priest controls the ritual, the flow of power. And if you knew how it worked, you could redirect it," Taran finished. "Not to the Alphas, to yourself." Sarkis' expression didn't change, but Myrath's did. "Is this true?" Myrath demanded, turning to the old priest. "Have you been lying to me?" "I've been helping you," Sarkis said calmly. "Everything I told you about the ceremony is true. It is blood magic. It does feed the Alphas. And yes, I want to end their power. But that doesn't mean I want to end the power itself." "What does that mean?" Aelith asked, her voice uncertain now. Sarkis sighed, as if disappointed. "It means, dear children, that you've all been very useful. Fenro, maintaining the ceremony while remaining ignorant of its true mechanics. Myrath, building a rebellion that will destabilize the current power structure. And you, on twin flames." His eyes fixed on Taran and Aelith. "You were never meant to die. You were meant to be the catalyst." "For what?" Taran breathed. "For the greatest ceremony ever performed." Sarkis spread his arms. "Two sacrifices, twin souls, united in death, the power that would generate." He smiled. "Enough to make me immortal, enough to let me reshape the Lycan world as I see fit." Horror washed over the camp. "You've been playing us," Myrath said, his voice deadly quiet. "All of us, from the beginning." "I've been positioning pieces," Sarkis corrected. "Fenro, you maintain the tradition, creating new sacrifices for me to study. Myrath, you rescue them, bringing them here where I can observe their power signatures. And when the twin flames appeared, a once-in-a-millennium event, I knew it was time." "The double ceremony," Fenro said. "You convinced the High Priestess to call for two sacrifices. She's more malleable than you think, young king, especially when presented with ancient prophecies that I may have written myself." Aelith's hand tightened on Tirene's. "You wanted us both dead. The power from our sacrifice would have made me a god," Sarkis finished. "But then Fenro complicated things by claiming one of you, and Myrath by saving the other. So I had to adapt, had to bring you together differently." He gestured to the camp, to the standoff, and here we are. Fenro and Myrath about to tear each other apart. Taran and Aelith, forced to choose sides. All of you so focused on your conflict, that you didn't notice me preparing the real ceremony." "What real ceremony?" Taran demanded. Sarkis's smile widened. "The one happening right now." Then Taran felt it. A pull, deep in her bones. The same sensation she'd felt at the moon ceremony, but amplified 100-fold. Across the camp, Aelith gasped, feeling it too. "The runes!" Xyler shouted, pointing to the ground. "The camp is built on a ritual circle." Taran looked down and saw he was right. The shelters, the paths, the very layout of Myrath's sanctuary, all of it formed a massive ceremonial pattern. And at key points, carved into trees and stones, were symbols that now began to glow with silver light. "You built the camp on a trap," Drenvar said, horror in his voice. "I guided its construction," Sarkis corrected. "Myrath thought he was creating a sanctuary. He was actually building my altar." The symbols glowed brighter. Taran felt her strength draining, being pulled toward some central point. Beside her, Aelith fell to her knees. "Say, stop this!" Fenro roared, lunging for Sarkis. But invisible walls slammed into place, separating everyone. The warriors couldn't reach the priest. The brothers couldn't reach each other. And Taran and Aelith found themselves pulled toward the center of the camp, toward each other, by forces beyond their control. "The twin flames," Sarkis said, his voice taking on a ceremonial cadence. "Born of one soul, split by fate, reunited in death. Your power, freely given through your mutual sacrifice, shall remake the world." "We're not sacrificing ourselves for you," Aelith screamed, fighting against the invisible pull. "You won't have a choice." Sarkis raised his hands, and the ritual circle blazed with light. "The circle is complete. The magic is active. In moments it will drain you both, and I will ascend." Taran's vision blurred. She could feel her life force being torn away, pulled into the ritual, could feel Aelith beside her, experiencing the same thing. This was it. They were going to die, not on the altar, not in the moon ceremony, but here, used as fuel for a madman's ascension. "Fenro!" Taran called out, desperate. Across the barriers, she saw him fighting against the invisible walls with savage fury. Saw Myrath doing the same from the other side. Saw both brothers, united for the first time in years, trying desperately to reach their mates. Because that's what Aelith was, Taran realized. Myrath's mate. The bond hadn't clicked before because they'd both been focused on survival, on conflict. But she could see it now in the way he fought to reach her sister. 2 sets of twin flames, 2 mate bonds, all of it orchestrated by Sarkis to create maximum power. "I'm sorry," Tirene whispered to Aelith, their hands finding each other as the ritual pulled them closer. "I'm sorry we didn't get more time." "I'm sorry I asked you to choose," Aelith said, tears streaming down her face. "Between Fenro and me, that wasn't fair. It's okay. I understand why. I love you, sister. I love you too." The light grew blinding. Tirene could feel herself slipping away, her consciousness fading into the ritual. Then, a voice cut through the magic. "Enough!" And everything shattered. The voice that shattered the ritual belonged to neither brother. It belonged to a woman. Mirvana stepped through the barriers as if they were smoke, her hands glowing with the same silver light as Sarkis's ritual circle. But where his magic pulled and consumed, hers seemed to cut, slicing through the invisible walls, disrupting the flow of power. "Impossible," Sarkis breathed, his composure cracking for the first time. "You can't interfere. You're bound to you?" Mirvana's laugh was bitter. "I was. For 5 long years, I fed you information, positioned pieces on your board. So played the perfect spy." She stepped closer, and Taran saw the woman clearly for the first time. Beautiful, hard-edged, with eyes that had seen too much. "But you made a mistake, Sarkis. You taught me too much, showed me too much of the magic, and I've been studying." The ritual's pull weakened. Taran gasped, able to breathe again. Beside her, Aelith collapsed, trembling. Sarkis's expression twisted with rage. "You think you can stop this? The circle is complete. The twin flames are bound. I know I can't stop it. Nirvana's hands moved in complex patterns, drawing symbols in the air. But I can redirect it. Send the power somewhere you don't want it to go. Where? Fenro demanded, still fighting against the barriers. Where are you sending it? Nirvana's eyes met his. Back to its source. Back to all the alphas who fed on it for 300 years. Every drop of sacrificial power returned in one catastrophic surge. It'll burn through them, kill most, drive the rest mad. Horror rippled through the camp. That's genocide, Myrath said. That's justice, Nirvana corrected. Every alpha whose bloodline benefited from the ceremony will pay the price. The power structure will collapse overnight. You'll kill innocents, Fenro roared. Alphas who had nothing to do with creating the ceremony. Children who inherited the power without knowing what it was. Collateral damage, Nirvana said coldly. No different than all the women who died on that altar. Tareen struggled to her feet, her mind racing. Wait, you said you were spying for Sarkis, working for Fenro's council. Which is it? Both. Nirvana's smile was sharp. I was on Fenro's council, yes, his most trusted advisor. But Sarkis recruited me years ago, promised me power, revenge against the system that tried to sacrifice my sister. I fed him information about Fenro's movements, his plans, his weaknesses. But you're betraying him now, Aelith said, because I finally understand what he really wants. Nirvana's expression darkened. Sarkis doesn't want to end the ceremony. He wants to become it. To be the source of all power. If he ascends, we exchange one tyrant for an immortal god. At least if I collapse the current system, we have a chance to build something new. By killing thousands, Fenro said. Yes. The word hung in the air like a blade. Sarkis laughed, a sound like breaking glass. You're all fools, fighting over scraps while I hold the real power. His hands rose, and the ritual circle blazed brighter. Nirvana, you can redirect the flow, but you can't stop the drain. The twin flames are still dying. And when they do, I'll simply adjust. Take what power I can. It won't be godhood, but it'll be enough to remake myself, to try again. He was right. Taryn could feel it. Even with Nirvana's interference, the ritual was still pulling at her life force. Slower, but inexorable. There has to be another way, Taryn gasped. There is! Everyone turned to find Xyler standing at the edge of the circle, his face grim. Break the bond. If the twin flames aren't connected, the ritual can't use them as a conduit. Break the bond? Aelith's voice was weak. How? Death, Xyler said flatly. One of you dies. The connection severs. The ritual collapses. No! Both Fenro and Myrath shouted simultaneously. There has to be another way, Fenro said desperately. There isn't. Xyler's expression was anguished. I've been studying the old texts since we learned about the twin flames prophecy. This is the only way to break a soul bond. Death. Final, irreversible death. Taryn looked at Aelith, saw the same realization in her sister's eyes. One of them had to die. Again. The moon ceremony had been interrupted, but fate, it seemed, still demanded its price. I'll do it, Aelith said immediately. No, Taryn interrupted. You have Myrath, the mate bond. You have a future. So do you, with Fenro. A future built on blood magic? On a throne sustained by sacrifice? Taryn shook her head. I don't want that, Aelith. I never wanted to be a queen. And I never wanted to be a rebel. Aelith grabbed her hands. But here we are, making impossible choices. Again. The ritual pulled harder. Both sisters fell to their knees, their strength draining rapidly. Decide quickly, Sarkis said, his voice almost gentle. Or I decide for you. And I assure you, my choice will be much more painful. Fenro was tearing at the barriers with supernatural strength, his wolf form threatening to break through. Taryn, don't you dare! Don't you dare sacrifice yourself! Why not? Taryn's voice cracked. It's what I was always meant to do. The ceremony. The altar. This was always my fate. Your fate is with me. Fenro's eyes blazed gold. The bond. The bond is a chain. The words tore from Tyreen's throat. A beautiful, terrible chain that makes me feel things I don't want to feel. That makes me defend you when I should hate you. That makes me want to trust you when everything you've built is wrong. The confession hung in the air. Fenro stopped fighting, just stood there, behind the barrier, looking shattered. You think I wanted this? He said quietly. You think I wanted to be born into a bloodline built on murder? To inherit power I didn't earn? To sit on a throne and pretend I deserved it? His voice broke. I hate it, Taryn. Every day, every moment. But I'm trying. Gods, I'm trying to make it better. To change things slowly, carefully, so the whole world doesn't burn. Slowly means more deaths, Myrath said. More ceremonies, more sacrifices while you maintain your power. And revolution means civil war, Fenro shot back. Means thousands dead in the fighting. There's no clean answer. Then maybe, Aelith said, her voice cutting through the argument. There's no answer at all. Maybe we're all damned. The Alphas, the Rebels, the Twin Flames. All of us caught in a system so broken that the only way out is death. She stood, swaying, and pulled a dagger from her belt. One Myrath must have given her. Aelith, no, Taryn started. I love you, sister. Aelith's smile was sad and beautiful. I'm glad I got to know you, even if it was only for a few weeks. She raised the dagger to her throat. Stop! Mirvana's voice cracked like a whip. There might be another way. Everyone froze. What way? Myrath demanded. Mirvana's expression was conflicted. The bond can be broken without death, but it requires a sacrifice of a different kind. Speak plainly, Sarkis said, interested despite himself. The Twin Flames are bound because they share a soul, Mirvana explained quickly. But souls can be separated, truly separated, made into two distinct entities instead of two halves of one whole. How? Taryn asked. Blood magic, old magic, the kind that costs. Mirvana looked between them. One of you would have to give up your wolf, your lichen nature, become fully human. The soul bond would sever because you'd no longer be compatible vessels. Silence fell like snow. Become human? Aelith breathed. Lose my wolf forever? Yes. No shifting. No enhanced strength or senses. No pack bonds. You'd be mortal. Vulnerable. Human in every sense. And that would break the ritual? Fenro asked. Immediately. The Twin Flames prophecy requires two likened souls. Make one human, and the prophecy is void. Taryn's mind reeled. Give up her wolf? She'd never even shifted. Had never felt that side of herself because she'd been unmarked, unmated. But it was still there, still part of her identity. To lose it. I'll do it, Aelith said. No, Myrath growled. Aelith, you can't. The mate bond. If you're human, it'll break. We won't feel each other anymore. I know. Tears streamed down Aelith's face. But Taryn has a chance with Fenro. A real chance. And you're an alpha. A leader. You need a mate who can stand beside you in battle. Who can help lead the rebellion. Not a human who'll just be a liability. You're not a liability, Myrath said fiercely. You're my mate. Your weakness. Aelith's voice was gentle but firm. Sarkis already proved that. He knew exactly how to manipulate us by threatening each other. If I'm human, if the bond breaks, you'll be free. Free to lead without worrying about me. Free to fight without holding back. I don't want that freedom, but the rebellion needs it. Aelith turned to Taryn. And you need your wolf. You're Fenro's mate, his queen. You'll need that strength. I don't want to be queen, Taryn said. Maybe not. But you want to change things. I can see it in you. The way you questioned Sarkis. The way you think. Aelith smiled through her tears. You're going to transform that throne from the inside, sister. Make it into something worth having. But you can't do that as a human. The ritual pulled harder. They were running out of time. There has to be another option, Taryn said desperately. Something that doesn't require either of us to give up who we are. There isn't, Mirvana's voice was sad. "I've searched, studied. This is the only way to break a soul bond without death. One of you becomes human, or one of you dies. Those are the choices." Taryn looked at her sister, this stranger who'd become the most important person in her world in just 3 weeks. Saw the determination in Aelith's eyes, the resignation. "I can't let you do this," Taryn said. "You can't stop me." Aelith turned to Mirvana. "Do it. Whatever ritual you need. Make me human." "Aelith, please." Myrath was begging now, his powerful frame trembling. "I love you," Aelith said to him. "I'll always love you. But this is bigger than us. Bigger than any of us." She looked at Fenro. "End the ceremony. After this, no more sacrifices. Promise me." Fenro's jaw clenched. "I promise. On my life, on my throne, I promise." "And you?" Aelith's eyes found Myrath again. "Win. Make the rebellion everything it should be. Build a better world. Don't let my sacrifice be for nothing." "This isn't a sacrifice," Myrath choked out. "This is losing you. You're not losing me. I'll still be here. Still be me. Just different. Human." "Yes." The word was final. Mirvana stepped forward, her expression sorrowful. "I need your consent. Blood magic requires willing participation." "You have it," Aelith said. "And I need time to prepare, to draw the circle correctly. If I make a mistake, then I die." Aelith's smile was bittersweet. Still better than feeding Sarkis's ascension. "No." Sarkis's composure finally shattered completely. "You can't. The twin flames are mine. This power is mine!" He lunged forward, hands blazing with corrupted magic. But Drenvar was faster. The massive warrior crashed into Sarkis from the side, tackling him to the ground. "Do it!" he shouted to Mirvana. "I'll hold him!" "You can't hold me, you fool!" Sarkis's magic erupted, throwing Drenvar back. But the interruption had cost him. The ritual circle flickered, its power wavering. Xyler and other warriors rushed forward, surrounding the old priest. Not trying to capture him, they knew he was too powerful for that. Just trying to contain him, to buy time. Mirvana worked quickly, pulling ingredients from hidden pockets. Salt, ash, something that looked like bone dust. She drew a smaller circle around Aelith, murmuring words in a language Taryn didn't recognize. "This will hurt," Mirvana warned. "I know. Not just physically. You'll feel your wolf dying, feel that part of yourself being torn away. It's agony." "I know," Aelith repeated. Then she looked at Taryn. "Hold my hand." Taryn knelt beside her sister, gripping her hand tight. "I'm here. I'm right here." "Good." Aelith's smile was shaky. "I'm scared." "Me too." Tell me it'll be okay, even if it's a lie." "It'll be okay," Taryn whispered. "You'll be okay. We both will." Mirvana finished the circle. It glowed with a different light than Sarkis's, cleaner, sharper, like moonlight on snow. "Last chance," Mirvana said. "Once I start, there's no stopping. No reversal." "Do it," Aelith said. Mirvana's hands rose, and she began to chant. The magic hit like a tidal wave. Aelith screamed. Taryn felt it through their soul bond. The tearing, the ripping, like something fundamental was being carved out of Aelith's essence. Felt her sister's wolf fighting, clawing, they desperate to stay. Felt it die, piece by piece, as the magic consumed it. "I've got you," Taryn sobbed, holding Aelith as her sister convulsed. "I've got you. I've got you." Across the camp, Myrath fell to his knees, howling. The mate bond was breaking. Taryn could see it in his face. The moment the connection severed. The moment Aelith went from mate to just a woman he loved. Still loved, desperately, but without that supernatural certainty. The ritual took minutes that felt like hours. When it finally ended, Aelith collapsed in Taryn's arms, gasping. Alive, human, changed forever. And Sarkis's ritual circle shattered like glass. The backlash of power exploded outward, throwing everyone to the ground. Taran felt the pull on her life force vanish instantly. The twin flames' prophecy was broken. She and Aelith were no longer two halves of one soul. They were just sisters. Sarkis staggered to his feet, his face twisted with rage and desperation. No! No! You've ruined everything. Decades of planning, centuries of preparation. Good, Mirvana said coldly. You think you've won. Sarkis's laugh was unhinged. The ceremony will continue. The Alphas will maintain their power. Nothing has changed. Everything has changed, Fenro said quietly. He'd finally broken through the failing barriers and now stood at the edge of the shattered ritual. Because now I know the truth, and I can't unknow it. He walked toward Sarkis, every step deliberate. You're right that I've benefited from blood magic, that my whole bloodline has. And you're right that ending the ceremony will cause chaos. Fenro's eyes blazed. But maintaining it makes me complicit in murder, and I can't live with that anymore. So what will you do? Sarkis sneered. Abdicate? Give up your throne? The other Alphas will tear you apart. Maybe. Fenro's smile was sharp. Or maybe I'll tear them apart first, starting with you. He moved with blinding speed, grabbing Sarkis by the throat and lifting him off the ground. Wait, Mirvana shouted. If you kill him, we lose everything he knows. All the information about the ceremony, about how to properly dismantle it. I don't care, Fenro growled. But I do, Myrath said, stepping forward. Brother, I hate him as much as you do. But Mirvana's right. We need what's in his head. The locations of other ritual sites, the names of everyone involved. The full extent of the conspiracy. Fenro's hand tightened on Sarkis's throat. For a moment, Tirene thought he'd kill the old priest anyway. Then, slowly, he lowered him to the ground. Lock him up, Fenro ordered. Guard him every moment. And if he tries to escape, his eyes promised violence. Make it hurt. Warriors surrounded Sarkis, binding him with iron chains inscribed with runes, old magic to suppress his power. The priest didn't resist, just smiled that knowing smile, like he still had secrets worth keeping. As they dragged him away, Taran finally released the breath she'd been holding. It was over. The ritual was broken. Sarkis was contained. Aelith was alive, if changed. They'd survived. But as Taran looked around the camp, at the exhausted warriors, at Myrath cradling Aelith's now human form, at Fenro standing alone and haunted, she realized this wasn't an ending. It was barely even a beginning. The real fight was just starting. 3 days after the ritual, Tirene found herself in the strangest situation of her life, sitting at a table with Fenro, Myrath, and Mirvana, trying to figure out how to dismantle 300 years of tradition without causing a continental war. Aelith sat beside her, wrapped in furs. Her sister was recovering, but the change was obvious. No enhanced healing, no supernatural strength. She tired easily, needed more sleep, felt the cold more keenly. But she was alive. And sometimes Tirene caught her smiling. Small, private smiles, like she'd found an unexpected freedom in her mortality. The council is demanding answers, Xyler reported, standing at attention. About why you disappeared for 3 days. About the rumors of twin flames. About why Mirvana is suddenly here, alive, when she was supposedly on a mission to the southern territories. Tell them the truth, Fenro said. Everyone stared at him. The truth? Myrath repeated. That the moon ceremony is blood magic? That we were almost killed by a rogue priest trying to ascend to godhood? That your most trusted advisor was a double agent? Yes. That'll cause a panic, Mirvana said. The Alphas will deny it. Call it lies, conspiracy. They'll say you've been compromised. Let them. Fenro's expression was granite. I'm done with secrets. Done with maintaining lies to preserve order. The truth is going to come out eventually. Better it comes from me, on my terms, than from Sarkis, when he inevitably tries to bargain for his freedom. He won't bargain, Mirvana said darkly. He thinks he's still going to win. I can see it in his eyes. He has contingencies, plans within plans. Then we stay ahead of him. Fenro looked at his brother. Myrath, Your rebellion. How many do you have? Committed fighters? 200. Sympathizers? Maybe 1,000 across all territories. That's not enough to win a civil war. I know. Myrath's jaw clenched. But it's enough to make people think, to plant seeds of doubt. If we can expose the ceremony for what it is. We'll need proof, Xyler interrupted. Sarkis's journals aren't enough. Half the alphas will claim they're forgeries. We need irrefutable evidence. The ritual sites, Taryn said quietly. Everyone turned to look at her. Sarkis mentioned other ritual sites, places where the power accumulates. If we can find them, study them, maybe we can prove how the magic works. That's actually brilliant, Mirvana said. Physical evidence, archaeological proof, harder to deny than documents. But it'll take time, Myrath pointed out. Months, maybe years to locate all the sites. And meanwhile, the next moon ceremony is in 6 months. More women will die. Silence fell around the table. Not if I cancel it, Fenro said. You can't just cancel the moon ceremony, Xyler said carefully. The High Priestess will never allow it. The other alphas will see it as weakness. They'll challenge you. Let them challenge me. Fenro's voice was steel. I'll fight every single one if I have to. But I will not. I will not allow another woman to die on that altar while I sit on a throne built from her blood. Taryn felt something warm bloom in her chest. Pride, hope, maybe even trust. Through the mate bond, she felt Fenro's determination. His fear, too. He knew what this decision would cost, but also his absolute conviction that it was right. If you do this, Mirvana said slowly, if you publicly denounce the ceremony and refuse to hold it, you'll fracture the Pack Alliance. Some alphas will follow you. Most won't. We'll be looking at civil war within weeks. I know. Thousands will die. I know. Including possibly you. I know. Fenro met her eyes. But thousands are already dying. Just slower. Just out of sight. At least this way, we're fighting for something that matters. For a chance to build something better. Noble, Myrath said. But there was respect in his voice. Suicidal, but noble? Says the man who's been running a rebellion from the shadows for 5 years, Fenro shot back, but without heat. At least I'm doing it in the open. The brothers looked at each other across the table. So much history between them, so much pain. But also, Taryn realized, a deep and abiding love. They'd been torn apart by duty and belief, but they'd never stopped being brothers. If we're doing this, Myrath said, we do it together. Your throne legitimacy plus my rebel network. Combined forces. The other alphas will call it a coup, Xyler warned. They'll call it whatever justifies their desire to maintain power, Mirvana corrected. But if we can get even a few alphas on our side, the younger ones, the ones who've been questioning the old ways, we might have a chance. Who? Fenro asked. Mirvana pulled out a list. I've been tracking sympathizers for years. Alphas who've expressed doubts about the ceremony. Who've pushed for reform. Who've lost sisters, or daughters, or mates to the ritual, and never quite accepted the God's will explanation. She spread the parchment on the table. Taryn saw names, territories, notes in cramped handwriting. These are possibilities, Mirvana continued, not certainties. But if we approach them carefully, make our case, show them the evidence, they might join us, Myrath finished. Or they might report us to the High Priestess and accelerate the conflict. It's a risk we have to take, Fenro said. He looked at Taryn. What do you think? The question surprised her. Me? You're my mate. My queen. Whether you want the title or not. Your opinion matters. Taryn glanced at Aelith, who nodded encouragingly. I think... Taryn chose her words carefully. I think you're right that the truth has to come out. But Mirvana's also right that we need allies. We can't fight everyone at once. She studied the list. What if we didn't make it about the ceremony at first? What if we made it about unity? Strength? Tell the other alphas you're calling a summit, a gathering to discuss threats to all the packs. What threats? Zyler asked. Sarkis. Taryn's mind raced. He wasn't working alone. He couldn't have been. He mentioned decades of planning. That means accomplices, other priests, maybe other alphas who knew the truth and were complicit. What if we framed the summit as a security concern, rooting out corruption in the temple hierarchy? Nirvana's eyes widened. That's actually genius. It's not technically a lie. Sarkis is a threat. But it gets the alphas together without immediately making it about the ceremony. It gives us a chance to present evidence, build consensus. And if some of them are complicit? Myrath asked darkly. If they've known about the blood magic all along? Then they'll reveal themselves, Fenro said grimly, and we'll deal with them accordingly. This could work, Zyler said, warming to the idea. A summit under the guise of security. We bring our evidence, confront the corruption, and force the alphas to choose sides in a controlled environment, rather than through scattered conflicts across territories. We'd need to move fast, Nirvana said, before word of what happened here spreads, before Sarkis's allies, if he has any, can regroup. How fast? Fenro asked. 2 weeks, maybe 3. Enough time to send invitations, gather evidence, prepare our case. But not so long that rumors spiral out of control. Fenro nodded slowly. So all right, we do this. Nirvana, you draft the invitations. Frame it as a security summit. Emphasize unity, strength, protecting pack interests. Zyler, you coordinate security. I want every guard vetted. No one who might be sympathetic to Sarkis gets anywhere near the summit. And me? Myrath asked. You stay here. Keep building the rebellion. If the summit fails, if we can't convince enough alphas to our side. Fenro's expression was bleak. We'll need your forces ready to move. This ends either in reform or revolution. There's no middle ground anymore. The brothers clasped forearms, an old gesture of respect and solidarity. We were always meant to do this together, Myrath said quietly. The twin flames, both sets, you and me, Taryn and Aelith. All of us born to break the old ways and forge something new. Poetic, Fenro said. Let's hope we survive long enough to see it through. As the meeting broke up, people scattering to their assigned tasks, Taryn felt a hand on her arm. Aelith. Walk with me? Her sister asked. They made their way to the edge of Myrath's camp, to a small grove where moonlight filtered through ancient trees. Aelith moved slower now, more carefully, human fragility evident in every step. Are you okay? Taryn asked. Honestly? I don't know. Aelith sat on a fallen log, and Taryn settled beside her. Losing my wolf. It's like losing a limb. No, worse. Like losing a sense. Everything feels muted now. Colors are duller. Sounds are quieter. I can't hear heartbeats anymore. Can't smell emotions. It's like the world got smaller. I'm sorry. Don't be. Aelith's smile was genuine. I chose this. And you know what? There's freedom in it too. No wolf means no instincts screaming at me. No pack bonds pulling at my loyalty. No mate bond making decisions for me. I'm just me. Human. Fragile. But entirely my own. Myrath, Taryn started, is heartbroken. Aelith's expression was sad. I can see it every time he looks at me. The bond breaking hurt him more than it hurt me, I think. Because I chose it. He had no choice. Do you still love him? Yes, gods, yes. But it's different now. It's a choice. Every day, I choose to love him. Not because biology demands it, but because he's incredible. Strong and fierce, and so damn noble it hurts. Aelith laughed softly. Turns out, love is better when you choose it freely. Taryn thought about Fenro, about the mate bond pulling at her constantly, about how hard it was to know where her feelings ended and the bond began. You're wondering if your feelings for Fenro are real, Aelith said, reading her expression. How did you? Because I wondered the same thing with Myrath, before the bond broke. Aelith took her hand. Here's what I figured out. It doesn't matter. Real or bond influenced, your feelings are yours. They're what you're experiencing. And more importantly, you have the power to choose what you do with them. The bond makes it hard to think clearly. I know. But Taryn, I watched you at that table. The way you spoke up, the way you thought strategically, the way Fenro listened to you, valued your input. That's not the bond. That's you being brilliant, being strong, being exactly who you need to be. I don't feel strong. None of us do. Aelith squeezed her hand. But we're doing it anyway. You're going to stand beside Fenro at that summit. You're going to help him tear down 300 years of tradition. And you're going to do it because you choose to. Bond or no bond. Taryn leaned her head on her sister's shoulder. I miss the girl I was 3 weeks ago. The one who thought her biggest problem was dying at a ceremony. That girl is still in there, just braver now. Fiercer now. Scarier now. Definitely scarier. Aelith laughed. We both are. The twin flames who broke prophecy, who refused to die nicely, who are about to turn the Lycan world upside down. Think we'll survive it? Honestly? No idea. Aelith's smile was reckless and beautiful. But gods, what a story we'll make either way. They sat together in the moonlight, two sisters who'd found each other on the edge of death and refused to let go. One Lycan, one human, both absolutely terrifying in their own ways. And somewhere in the camp behind them, two brothers were planning a revolution. The moon ceremony had demanded their deaths. Instead, they were going to kill it. To be continued in the next chapter.